Hello. Welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. I'm going to talk in a roundabout way about the most recent developments in the D&D OGL thing that has been going on. Long and short of it, as of the recording of this, Wizards of the Coast has elected to back off completely from any attempt to revoke or alter the OGL 1.0A. And not only have they took their hands off of that, so that's going forward as it always has, but they've taken the standard rules document 5.1, the basic document that contains all the rules and the language of all the rules for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and they've made that a Creative Commons license. That's a Creative Commons copyright. That is out in the open. You can use that. You can pick that up right now and use that to write a product. Wizards of the Coast has absolutely nothing to say about that and will not. Going forward, that project's always going to be in the Creative Commons. Wizards has no control over that now. They have let it go. So I'd like to talk about a trope in fantasy books, science fiction sometimes. It's been around a bit. I've overused it in role-playing games in the past. And I think the first time I really encountered it knowingly, that I saw it and recognized it for what it was a really mid-rate 3D animated movie from the 80s. So imagine the quality of that. Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin, which was not a great movie. It has not stood the test of time very well, but our Orin, our hero, gets the hilt of a sword at some point, falls out of space, belongs to some space warrior, and when he uses it as though it were a sword in combat, it manifests a blade of energy. Lightsaber stand-in. He's obviously our Luke Skywalker character for this. The Star Wars pastiche is really, really obvious. And at some time, spoilers for Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin, a phrase no one else, I'm sure, in the history of YouTube has ever used. But towards the end of the movie, he loses the hilt, and it seems like it's all going to go bad. And then the little fairy that's been around, Obi-Waning in his ear for most of this, informs him that he didn't need it. And indeed, when he focuses on his own inner strength, the blade manifests in his hands, absent the hilt. Now it is just a power that he has acquired, and he uses the blade of Orin that he has forged with his own will and courage to vanquish the enemies. He didn't need the blade after all. The power was within himself. The real treasure was the friends we found along the way. Not quite the same, but same energy. What have we discovered about the victors in the fight with Wizards of the Coast over the past couple of weeks? Because it's been a fight, and it has been there have been courageous people stepping up, risking their livelihood to make sure that the community was aware of what the problem was and why it was there, what was happening. And then people speaking with their wallets and their voices at the same time, canceling their subscriptions to D&D Beyond, making it known why they were, calling for hashtag OpenDND. And that is what has been achieved. What have we learned about these people? Well, tabletop role-playing games, it's a great hobby. I cannot talk well enough about how much I love the hobby of tabletop role-playing games, how much I love role-playing, and all the books and the imagination, and how it harkens back to the greatest forms of storytelling that we have ever had as a race. Humanity has this thing, and it's great. And we were able to use an amazing tool to build our knowledge and our skill with this. And Dungeons & Dragons 5e is a great tool for role-playing games. Don't get me wrong, it is. Those 3 basic books, they're not perfect, but they show us such a great start and get us on our way and get us playing those 0 to 20 campaigns and getting into the minutia of it and understanding it and watching it grow as people create stuff. And that's the thing. That's why this has been a problem. That's why this has been such an outcry, because the books for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition were a start. They were a starting point. They even included information, especially in the DMG, about how you make your own stuff for this game from here. Write your own, map your own dungeons, create your own classes and creatures and magic items. Make your own stuff. D&D was a great tool to start with. We don't need D&D anymore. The adventure was inside us all the time. We had the power to make these happen. When we're all sitting around a table, and whether you got dice or not, there are diceless systems. When you're just sharing a story, passing it around a little bit. I'll take a character, you take a character, you tell us what's happening with the plot. That activity is way older than D&D. And now we are rediscovering it. There are rule sets to do it too. Great, that's awesome. I wrote one myself. Victory system's pretty good. We switched over to using the victory system in our Wednesday night game, and I'm really enjoying how it's going at this point. Pathfinders out there. I have a Pathfinder 1 ebook around here someplace. Been a long time since I cracked it. 2e has come out in the meantime, and people seem to really enjoy that. Paizo Press has done a great job. When Wizards of the Coast abandoned the 3.5 rule set, and Paizo picked it up, dusted it off a little bit. Pathfinder. A lot of people enjoy it. You might want to have a look. There are dozens of rule sets out there. Some good, some not so good. I like Modifus. Their system is really, really nice. Plays well if you're familiar with Victory. There's a lot of system things and similar between the systems. Older things that people have kind of walked away from. Arms Law, Claw Law, the Rollmaster series. That's got some fun to it, depending on how well you know it and who's running it. You've got channels on YouTube full of people who play D&D or Dungeon Mastered or Game Mastered, know other systems, who've explored other systems and willing to share those opinions of them, myself included. Write your own. These rules would be great if only. And fill in those if onlys. Make notes. Start them on little pieces of paper, a note here and there in your computer. Put them all together, and surprise, after a little while, you've got your own rule set. Use that. Write stuff for it. Put it out there. Let other people play in that imagination that you have put out there. We don't need D&D anymore. We still have it. We can still go to it. And if you want to enjoy that, that's fine. But put your own stuff in it. There's no reason not to. No reason not to. Nothing holding you back from it. And if you start bumping into edges, well, I'd like to create this, but the rules have this limit, or I don't see this in the rules. Well, make your own rules. Every book you buy of role-playing game rules, everyone, especially mine has this wording in it. Once you buy that book, it's your game. Once you sit down and start reading it, start imagining what you're going to take your friends through as you roll dice at that table, that's yours. If the rules say you can't do something that you want to do, you get to write the rule that says, no, really, I can't. The thing that Wizards of the Coast could not afford, the things that the Hasbro executives really didn't take into account, is the fact that At a certain point, we don't need them anymore. We're like Orin in Star Chaser. We've seen that the hilt is out of our reach, that something is going to take it away from us. And well, just because that tool that we've had for learning this all along is going to be stretched away just enough, we no longer need it. We have the power to achieve victory in our hands. And really, we always have. It's cliche, it's a trope, but it turns out to be entirely accurate. If you're watching this, if you've been watching, if you intend to keep watching, however it goes, you're a creative individual who has some interest in these hobbies. You like storytelling, and you have that sense of imagined adventure that is the driving force behind literature and art and creation for as long as we have been able to imagine things beyond what our senses bring to us. Not just the sunset, but imagining what that sunset would be like if it were just a little different, or over another planet, or if there were two suns and I didn't really feel like taking those droids to get their memories wiped today, maybe tomorrow, except the R2 unit's gone missing. That is no engine of rules. No rule set, no book, no product is ever going to be more than a set of guidelines for the engine of pure creation that is the mind of the gamer. Long live the gamers. I am going to go back to writing the fantasy supplement for Victory. I've got people who are showing me what they want to see in a Victory book of fantasy and what will and won't fly in their opinions. Gotten some good feedback so far, and I could use all that I can get because I want to make something that people want to see and will enjoy running around in. I think I've got a good edge on that. Feedback helps, so does caffeine. So, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. I want to hear what you think of the victory, as it's a victory and should be celebrated. I want to hear what you think about moving forward. Do you want to use D&D in the future? You're going to find another rule set? Have you already found another rule set? Would you like to try Victory? Would you like to hear me talk a little bit more about my own system and where I'm going with that as far as a fantasy setting? What do you want to see created, if not create yourself? Please leave me a comment down below. More important now than ever before. I will love getting your comments. You'll probably love leaving me one. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, why not? My channel is awesome. You might want to hit the subscribe button. If you do, you also probably want to hit the little notification bell so you're alerted when my videos become available. If you would like to contribute to the channel in a more meaningful manner, I invite you to hit me up my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorm, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps, allows me to make better videos more often. Also, that is the Patreon for my role-playing efforts and the writing that I do. If you're a Patreon at any level, when I produce material, I will make it available to you. The fantasy book, when it comes out, it's just going to go out there. I maintain a Discord for folks in my Patreon. We do some gaming on the Discord, and a lot of talk about this, and that's where I'm going to be getting a lot of my feedback on this thing. People who are on that Discord are going to be privy to this stuff as I write it and have the opportunity to give me feedback immediately. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Scott Corum. This is what has mattered to me. I will see you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum.